This is Dance Studio 411, where we answer your real-life questions about your toughest studio life predicaments. Parent problems, teacher turnover, student challenges, policy dilemmas, and so much more. Let's talk about what's keeping you awake at night and what you can do about it. Here are your hosts, Suzanne Blake Gerety and Jill Tirone.
Welcome to our Dance Studio 411 podcast. In today's episode, I am joined by my partner here at Dance Studio owner, Jill Tirone. Welcome, Jill.
Hi, Suzanne. Thanks so much.
I know. I'm excited about this topic today because, gosh, is it timely. We had a member just like in complete panic mode, and she said, how am I ever going to get through this to-do list with this upcoming performances and everything, like just complete overwhelm. And so we're tackling that today because I don't know, Jill, you seem to you're just a ninja when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah, I get so fired up about this topic. I love ninja hacks, and I love getting through to-do lists, and I really enjoy this. So it was so timely that we had this question come up just in our Facebook group this morning, and we're already scheduled to record this. So it's so timely. You can tell where everybody's mind is and where everybody's kind of energy is. It's swirling. It's a little frantic. I think everybody can relate. So this is going to be a great podcast today, and I'm really excited to give some good hacks. We've got some great tips today.
Yeah, we do. But it was so cute. Somebody's chimed in and was like, what did they say? Like one answer of how you're going to get it done. What did they say?
Stay home and hide from the world.
Exactly. I'd like to say, my husband knows me well. He got me a sign for my office, which is just so perfect. It says, I just want to drink wine, save the animals, and take naps. That's
yes. Who doesn't?
I mean, that could be the answer of how you get it done. I'm just going to be hiding in my pajamas with my glass of wine, petting my cat.
Yeah, but seriously, this other member, she was pretty serious though. Stay home and hide from the world because you can, turn off your phone. She said, turn off your phone. Don't park in front of your house because people may be looking for you. Ignore everyone that comes to the door. Turn off your locator devices. So, we're approaching this with a little bit of humor, but we do have some incredibly good time savers and ways to get things done for you today. Yeah,
and actually, let's start there because actually that's not half bad advice, which is airplane mode on your phone. So let's talk about it is like we have to be connected, and we feel like literally as dance studio owners, we are the equivalent of doctors on call 24/7, and it's exhausting. I mean, a true story. I put my phone in airplane mode now because a couple years back, my hair was falling out. I was so stressed out of the constant connection to stuff. And I said, I've got to stop this. It's not healthy. I'm going to put my phone in airplane mode from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. And you know what? Everything else in between is going to have to wait. And you know what? One night our studio got broken into by a crazy robber who threw a huge brick through a window, tried to make off with our safe. I woke up with 87 text messages. But you know what? I got a good night's sleep that night, and there was nothing I could do. The police took care of it. I mean, so yes, you can do it. Airplane mode for an hour.
Yeah, you had safeguards in place for something that's pretty extreme, and,
right.
And everybody handled it the way it was supposed to be handled, and that's true. You had truly one of kind of the worst thing that could possibly happen, but you being offline and out of touch from 10 to 6 gave you a great night's sleep. You woke up, and then you managed it the rest of the way the next day. So I think that's a really important tip to give to our listeners, because you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself so that you can take care of everybody during business hours. And your business hours may run from kind of like 6 to 9 p.m. and they may be longer, but you know what? Guarding yourself and taking that time in airplane mode is super. It is okay to do that.
Right. So time hack number 1, you've got to put all the devices, phones, dings, zings, blings, all off when you need to get work done, focused. And I use noise canceling headphones. Jill, what other tip to kind of minimize those distractions? What else do you do?
So I got a lot done just this morning, Suzanne, because I did the same thing. I went kind of in airplane mode, but I also used the Pomodoro Technique this morning. And if you're not familiar with the Pomodoro Technique, it is a way to get things done where you chunk 20 to 25 minutes of time, where you set the timer. and work. And then you take a 5-minute stretch break and you walk around, get a glass of water, a cup of coffee, come back to it, another 25-minute chunk, and just have all of your distractions, be in airplane mode, turn it back on, take a nice break. And you do like maybe 4, I think they recommend 4 or 5 of these Pomodoros, 20, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and then you take a nice long break. So if you really need to get some things done and dive into projects, the Pomodoro Technique is fabulous. So that's one big recommendation that I have to everybody. So go in airplane mode, do the Pomodoros, turn back on for 5 minutes, get a social media fix, answer a couple of emails, and then get back to it.
Correct. Yeah, multitasking is bad when you're trying to be effective. You feel like you're like, ooh, look at me doing emails and checking social and talking on the phone and texting someone back and then trying to update something and then checking the website. Like, no.
You're just being busy at that time. You're not being productive. Yeah. There's a difference.
Yeah, I've had to learn that the hard way. It's sort of like today shall be the day of which we only focus on the recital program. Mm-hmm. And yes, there are a million emails to get back to. And unless something is urgent, it's going to have to wait. Doesn't need an immediate response. Really takes some practice. But once you get in there and you're like, wow, in 2 hours, we got more done than we did in a whole day's work. You feel extraordinary.
Yes. So time blocking or chunking, that's another good way to approach this too. So handle like things all at the same time. So, check your email and do email responses at a particular time during the day. And then if you need to work on choreography, set that chunk of time depending on the day or the time of day if you're doing it every day. So that's another good way to get a nice batch of work done, is to chunk the like things together.
Exactly. And I found to even take chunking further for effective studio work that we do with my office manager, when we need to do social media graphics for the month, we set a dedicated time and space. We're like, this is the day we're going to create all the graphics for the upcoming month that relate to stuff that we know we have to communicate, that we already have it. Tickets go on sale, summer registration, whatever those things are. It's a holiday. Like, let's create those 7 to 10 things that we know are going to recur. We create them, we schedule them, and then all the other stuff that's kind of happens to be awesome, cute pictures, those can be posted on the fly. But creating the day for that is so important. And that could be for whether you create the day to collect unpaid bills, pay bills, accounts receivable, accounts payable, like create those days and set them as regular calendar events, and you'll hold yourself to that. I mean, Jill, you and I, how we get stuff done, we book ourselves a meeting.
Absolutely. Booking those meetings is important. And I even book meetings with myself. So for instance, if I know I need to get something done and I really need to focus on it, I block it off in my calendar and I make sure that people know that I'm busy during that time. So my interruptions are limited. Nobody's able to get a hold of me. And I think it's a good thing to do. Put it in the calendar and it's going to get done. Excellent.
Good. How about, go into the next, you have so many good ideas, Jill. Carry on.
So, I wanted to turn this back over to you in working in mind, in mindfulness and working on yourself and your spirit. And you are really, really fantastic at coming up with great tips to take care of your mind, body, and soul.
Yeah. So I've definitely within like the dance space, I'm a very creative, people call it an empath. If you know yourself and who you are, you really want to take care of that. So I'm definitely an empath. I take on the energy of people. I am very emotional in a good way, but sometimes it can get to me in other ways. So I know that when I'm having to do very intense work, I need to shut off all of the things that could be hurting my spirit, a la I don't watch the news. I don't really read too much news. I really am careful of the people I surround myself with. And I try every morning to read like 10 minutes of positive things. That could be a blog you like. For some people, it's scripture. For some people, it's like a daily devotion, something positive. For 10 minutes, I really focus on that so that the rest of the day is like, okay, I got this. Things come at you and, did you hear about so-and-so? And oh my gosh, this, people love to share the dramas and traumas of the world. Mm-hmm. And so when I know that I can go into the day centered, for other people, like it could be yoga, it could be exercise, it could be meditation. There's a couple apps you like for that, right, Jill?
Yeah. So I use Headspace, and another one is Insight Timer. Those are both great apps to look into for meditation. You can do a shorter one, or if you feel like you really have the time and need for something longer, you can pick something that works for you. But I like, even in the middle of the day, just to take a 2-minute break where you're breathing and you're refocusing, and gosh, you wouldn't think it would make a big difference, but man, 2 minutes of breathing and refocusing is amazing.
Exactly. That kind of goes in. Sometimes I just need to take, if I'm home in my home office, the dog for a quick walk around the block in the middle of the day. Just getting a little bit of like sunshine on your face or fresh air. Like you said, it feels like you're like, oh, I can't leave the work. I have to get it done and get it done. Well, the to-do list, here's the tip. Ready? It's never going to be done, guys. We're up to big things here. You're doing great work. Your to-do list will never be done. In fact, I've heard quotes that said, if your to-do list is getting done every time, you're not playing a big enough game. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't mean you should be in constant overwhelm, but there's going to always be something more. So focus on your effectiveness as it pertains to your health too and your mindset. So that's kind of one of the tips I want to leave, is that the to-do list will always be long. It's how do you avoid the overwhelm of it? So these are good tips. I'll let you carry on, Jill. What else?
Definitely. So I like that we're reading positive things. Taking time to be grateful is another good thing. So if you're not used to doing that, maybe just jotting down some specifics at the end of your day or the beginning of the next morning of things that really that you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as, your morning cup of coffee or tea if you're a little stuck for something, but it could be something as specific as adding cinnamon to your coffee that morning and how that really made you feel. So that was a tip that somebody just shared with me, and I thought that was great to be a little bit more specific about the gratitude. And
exactly, because you can save your wine for later. Exactly. Add your cinnamon to your coffee.
Add the cinnamon to the coffee in the morning. Good. Oh, what about taking things like I don't want to say shortcuts, but they're not, but some maybe time savers that we can do in the course of our day. I know when I was sick this past month, I ordered food in and had it delivered from the local grocery store. So that was a good thing that helped me get my mind off of what I needed to do otherwise. And that way, when I was back in action, got right back to that to-do list.
Exactly. So there was a great book. You recommended it. We read it this year, Finish by John A. Cuff. I think his name is Finish. It's called.
Yep.
It was great because you and I are both moms. We're busy moms. A lot of our listeners likely have kids and stuff. And you're managing the demands of your family and your kids and your extended, who knows, you could be caring for an elderly parent. You have the responsibilities of life on top of your business. And so one of the areas that we've found to be incredibly helpful for times, you've got to know what you can sort of delegate / take off your plate. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I cannot, like the laundry, it's not going to get done. Do we need to, during the month of May when it's so busy and we're studio owners and we're just like up to our ears and deadlines, and do I need to tell my husband, hey guys, family, this is the stuff we're going to have to take to the laundromat or outsource it to the wash and fold this month? I'm not saying every month. Do we need to hire out, those meal services? For me, it's like, who's going to pitch in to volunteer at school? It's not going to be me in May. I will tell the teachers, hey guys, listen, May is a really busy time for our family too. I get that you want me to volunteer for the PTO breakfast. You need help behind the thing, can't do it. I can write you a check for maybe a gift card. I can help you later. But no, you got to know what you can and can't do. And that's sort of like the tip here, right? It's sort of like, no, I can't do that, but I can do this instead.
Yeah, delegating is really important. It's very difficult because sometimes we feel like we really need to do it ourselves. But once you kind of get in the swing of things, it could be something as simple as if you have programs that need to be stapled or something for your upcoming show out, to-do lists or the information that you're providing to your parents and students, have the students kind of line up with staplers in the waiting room and have an assembly line and get that done. That's easy to delegate. I delegate to my husband. I'll give him a list and I'll say, here you go. We have to run and get that gift card for school. You mentioned, volunteering for school. And I've gotten good at delegating even to my family members so that we can really get stuff done. So delegation is key. You can even delegate really hard things. It could be delegating things like, making sure that your receipts are entered, your accounting's up to date, website updates are done. Take the time. If you front load it and delegate to the right person, then it's going to be just off your mind. I love that.
I think as studio owners in particular, we are so driven by our effectiveness because we're so good at like putting on huge productions that sometimes we think that asking for help is some sort of sign of weakness.
Right.
But it's actually an incredible sign of your leadership ability to trust the people around you. So this is where we ask like the husbands of our staff to help us load. We have to pack, a moving truck to get everything down to the theater. This is the time we say we're packing the truck between the hours of 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. on this day. Anybody that could come can make it awesome. And we're buying everybody lunch. And who can make it great? Because otherwise we're out there, breaking our back, crying tears of pain of how much we're overworked, and it's just not worth it. So where can you leverage that? And I know there's a couple of tools. Sign Up Genius is great. I mean, so many of the studio owners we know use it. We use it ourselves to coordinate backstage volunteers. I don't know, Jill, is there any other like online tools that you've seen that people can use? Sign Up Genius seems to be the most popular.
That seems to be the most common one. I would suggest that one probably the most. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you can create some checklists that you can give out, I know we have for our members, like a packing checklist for, things that you don't have to repack every year. Can you create a set of, tools that you keep backstage that you never have to unpack, but it's like the recital kit, those are helpful.
Definitely. Yeah. Anything we have a packing list, anything that you can provide to your faculty, your staff, your students, your parents to give them a little leg up and be organized. Have that box of goodies all packed that you just keep packed and replenish every single year. That will be a good time saver on taking it off of your to-do list because it's already done, so to speak. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So
good.
Gosh, there's so many great time and energy hacks that you can use, and we would love to hear from you. You can connect with us on our Dance Studio 411 website. We have a place where you could submit a question or a comment even, because we love to hear from you and for future episodes. And like I said, we love to support our members with these things because it's coming, guys. It's not if you're going to be busy and totally crazy, it's when. And remember to kind of keep the perspective that the to-do list will always be there. It's about trying to find calm in the midst of the chaos. So we're here to support you with that.
Absolutely. All right. Good tips for everybody today, Suzanne. I love it. So if you want to find out more about us or get more time-saving hacks, definitely reach out to us. We're always available to help.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Dance Studio 411. Visit us online at dancestudio411.com for more great resources and to submit a question for a future episode. Our number one goal is to help you build a successful dance studio business and keep your passion for dance alive.